I'm Kirill. I'm one of the core developers at the Bob and zkBob project ecosystem. And we are building a next generation stablecoin with optional privacy. So we're gonna talk about that. So we believe at zkBob that financial privacy is, first of all, of course, very important for everyone use cases, not only in crypto, but in Web2 world. And as in Web2 world is really a norm for people to think that their financial privacy is somehow preserved within banks and other institutions. In crypto, it usually becomes a big problem since the crypto blockchains and are basically public ledgers, and all information about public transactions are freely available for everyone on chain to see. And when it comes to sensitive financial information, so there is no really a simple mechanism for achieving privacy in these financial activities within everyday usage of stablecoins. So at zkBob, we are trying to fix this problem by introducing this optional privacy for a stablecoin. So we are basically right now building 3 important projects within our zkBob ecosystem. So Bob itself is a multi-chain, multi-collateral stable token with optional privacy implemented via the zkBob protocol, which is a DApp powered by zk-snarks, which allows this private micropayments between users. And one of the recent projects we also started working with is called Bob CDP, which is basically a protocol which will allow users to not only generate Bob by locking their stable collateral, but also use some of their volatile on-chain assets to mint this Bob using the CDP model. So just a few words about the Bob stablecoin. So the first typical question that is asked about the stablecoin, which you probably didn't heard about, is related to how does the stablecoin preserve its price and keeps it peg. So here we decided to follow the simplest possible approach, first of all, with just starting by backing each Bob with a similar amount of USDC. So for now, each freely available and circulating Bob is backed 1-to-1 with USDC, and all circulating supply is 100% backed with on-chain stablecoins. Yeah, and to further harden the peg, we're also using this concept of very tight concentrated ranges of liquidity on Uniswap v3 and similar liquidity protocols. Yeah, for hardening the peg and keeping this 1-to-1 ratio between other stablecoins, we also introduced this headless AMM called BobSwap, which is currently integrated to 1inch aggregator and Pathfinder. And we're also looking into integrating it into other AMM aggregator frameworks in the nearest future. And basically, BobSwap allows you to swap between other whitelisted stablecoins into Bob and from Bob with fixed rate, which is in zero slippage and almost zero fees. And one of the also other cool features it supports is called idle asset compounding. So whenever somebody logs some USDC or USDT in the BobSwap contract, this can be automatically auto-compounded to some of the blue chips lending markets like Compound or Aave to earn some additional and notable yield for the protocol revenue, so which is also a cool feature to have. And just to conclude about the Bob part, just to throw some numbers, so the current market cap of Bob is about 50 million USD, with achieving about 8 to 10 million dollars of trading volume daily. We have more than 4,600 active holders of Bob token, and the overall collateralized circulating supply available freely on the market is around 7 million. And the Bob itself is deployed on multiple chains. We are looking forward to deployment on other chains as well, but right now we are present on Polygon, Optimism, and Arbitrum rollups, Ethereum mainnet, and BNB chain. So yes, as I said before, we also started working recently on this module for collateralized debt positions, which is soon going to be available on one of the Bob present networks. And this way, users will be able to generate new Bob on the market using their Uniswap v3 or QuickSwap v3 LP positions with Bob or other token pairs as collateral. And this way, it's going to increase the capital efficiency and allow for more collaborations for us in the future. So now jumping into the coolest part, the zkBob. So the zkBob is a optional privacy layer for Bob token. The way it works is by using the zero-knowledge proofs. People using zkBob are able to confirm the particular validity of the particular operation and transaction without actually revealing the concrete details, sensitive details of their deposit, private transfer, or withdrawal, such as the amount of their operation, the destination addresses. And so they confirm this validity of this operation by using and calculating the zero-knowledge proof, Snark proof within their application UI. And this way, only the actual sender and the receiver of each particular operation has the ability to actually access and decrypt the operation metadata and to actually know what happens inside of this operation. Then, to limit further privacy leakages and to simplify the use case, the way how this protocol is used by the users, all transactions are sent through the elected relayer so that users don't actually need to pay for gas in gas tokens, and instead they can use the same token for payment of fees to the relayer as the sending, which is the Bob stablecoin. So here's a small snippet from the UI. So basically, as I said, the UI allows you to make a deposit inside your privacy application from your public wallet on Polygon or other available networks. Then you are able to perform transfers to other participants within the zkBob pool. And finally, once you, for example, receive the salary, you are able to withdraw them back to your public wallet to continue your DeFi journey. So right now we are looking for collaboration in multiple major use cases. So the biggest one we are currently focusing on is related to everything somehow connected to payroll activities, invoicing, payments processing. So basically a lot of organizations in crypto and beyond, a lot of DAOs are already paying their salaries in stablecoins, which is a convenient choice of currency for payment of salaries, and paying them and keeping them on chain is a very beneficial use case. But usually this all happens publicly on publicly available blockchains, which makes it very inconvenient for everyone involved. So for DAOs, it makes inconvenient to disclose everyone's salary to everyone. For people receiving this salary, they can be scary for receive salary on publicly available address so that everyone on the blockchain can see how much they receive, how much they spend, and how they spend it. So it makes a perfect fit for the privacy application connected to stablecoins to kind of try to integrate with all those who are paying salaries in stablecoins. Yeah, and we are also focusing on other use cases as well, such which might include something related to vendor purchases, anonymous donation, fundraising, granting programs, and the connection to the TradFi world and its use cases like on and off boarding between stablecoins and traditional banking, processing of bank deposit, remittances, and so on. So, and as I said, with the example of salaries, for example, how it all works. So we have our employer, Kirill, let's say, who wants to pay for his people and employee privately. So he has USDC, let's say. He's able to go to Uniswap or 1inch UI to swap his USDC to Bob at a nearly 1-to-1 rate, then deposit this whole amount to the zkBob application. And then when the day of the salary came, he's able to, within one transaction, to pay for all of his employees using their zk addresses. And then once the employees receive their salary, they are able to freely withdraw their Bob back to the public wallet. And so nobody really knows how much each employee receives and what he does further with his money. So right now, the zkBob application is available only on Polygon and Optimism, but the Bob token is present on multiple chains as well, and as well as people are using other chains as well. So for further kind of simplify the UX for our users, we also made this cool integration with LeFi. So you have access to the widget of LeFi within our application, which actually allows you to perform quick, efficient, and fast swaps cross-chain between your available assets and Bob, so that you can use it for deposits, or when you have withdrawn Bob, you can swap it back to other assets on any other available chain quickly within our UI. So now a few words about compliance and our approach to this topic. So first of all, we believe that compliance topic is becoming more and more important every day for every crypto project, and especially it's true when we are talking about privacy-related applications. We have seen a lot of events in the past years which were related to the privacy solutions and the lack of sufficient compliance solutions. So we also believe that no actually single compliance solution exists that can fit and close all the use cases and eliminate all the questions from all of the regulators. So we believe that the best approach we can choose here is to combine multiple compliance approaches, which every on its own make life of malicious actors a bit harder, while still preserving the decent amount of simplicity and robustness of the user experience within our application. So what we are doing on the compliance side within our application, we are passively screening the deposit and withdrawal addresses so that no malicious actors related to known exploits, hacks, or other types of illicit on-chain activities are able to perform operations within our privacy protocol. We also will soon start to allow our users to generate a cryptographically verified statement of their account, which includes a history of their transactions for last 3 months or so that they're able to generate the report and to prove to the requesting party, which could be a centralized exchange, the banking institutions, or government authorities, what they actually did in the pool, where did they receive their money from, and how they spent it. And so this way they're able to prove the source of funds, the way how they spend it, without disclosing it publicly to the whole blockchain, but instead to just disclose them to a particular requesting party. Yeah, we're also imposing different limits on the amount of activity certain actors can perform within the pool. So we have a strict limit on the amount of daily activities you can make on the deposit and withdrawal side. We have the limit on the total pool size. All of this makes life really harder for the hackers and exploiters who want to deposit and operate on large amount of money, but at the same time it doesn't really make life harder for typical users of our application who just receives a salary or perform day-to-day transactions. We also did a cool integration with Binance and Know Your Cat KYC provider, which is basically allows you to mint to your address to pass the KYC on Binance, then to connect it to the KYC enabled soulbound NFT token, issue that on your wallet, and our application will check the existence of this soulbound NFT on your account, and if it's present, it will lift or significantly increase the available usage limits for the application. Yeah. So, and one of the latest feature we have added to the zkBob, and the one we are asking our hackers to use throughout this hackathon, is called direct deposits. So basically it's a solution for simple and fast private payment integration within different partner products. So its main goal is to minimize the required effort and coding for when it comes to integrating privacy features to open source wallets, third-party decentralized application, different protocols, DeFi-based applications, and so on. And so the coolest part of that is that even though all of the previous zkBob operations, such as deposits, transfers, and withdrawals, they require users to actively participate in the generation of the snark proof within their UI, which makes it nearly impossible to integrate such a workflow within partner products. In case of direct deposits, no actually zk snark proofs generation is required for the user, and instead, another third party is responsible for generation of those snark proofs. So the way it works is pretty simple. So we have this potential, just a few ideas who can integrate direct deposits. So it could be text protocols, donation fundraising platforms, different cross-chain bridges and protocols, maybe open source wallets who want to simplify the life of the users, maybe some tooling related to payroll and invoice processing, which is located on chain. And so all of these protocols implemented in some form of smart contracts can easily interact with the escrow smart contract for our direct deposit processing logic, basically by specifying the destination zk address of the users they want to send their money to, specifying the desired amount. Then after some time, normally it takes 10 to 15 minutes, the relayer, which is relayer hosted by us, will be able to process those pre-submitted direct deposits in batches, generate the necessary Snark proofs for them in a trustless manner so that no one is really able to manipulate the data in the direct deposits after it has been submitted. And once this transaction from the relayer is eventually submitted to the pool contract and confirmed, users of the zkBob are the receivers of those direct deposits are able to access the funds right away in the same way as they do by simple interaction within our zkBob UI. So users can continue to transfer them inside the pool to other participants or withdraw them back to the public 0x address. So now a few words about our hackathon bounty. What we're asking you to do is to help us to bring the financial privacy and to find the important everyday use cases which lacks this financial privacy for stablecoin transfers, and to connect zkBob with any existing on-chain activities where it might matter. And so we are asking you to do so by integrating the zkBob direct deposit feature with any existing or your customly built protocol, project, or any other application of your choice. So just again, a few ideas where can we start? We can build an integration with the open source wallet for making deposits into privacy pool easier and more available for public usage. You can integrate it as a endpoint and at the different protocols related to bridges, swaps, and the aggregators. You can do something with the processing of fundraising and donation from multiple users, or you can build something around the payroll tooling. And of course, this list is not limited by only our ideas. You can suggest and discuss any idea you have in mind right now or later at our booth as well. So we have a total bounty of 10,000 Bob for this hackathon, for the 5K for the first place, 2K for the second prize, and the remaining 3K will be evenly distributed among all successful notable submissions. So basically all projects which successfully will be able to integrate zkBob direct deposits in their projects will qualify and receive guaranteed bounty within this from this prize pool of 3,000. Yeah, and during the judging process, we'll definitely take a look about creativity, novelty, and the implementation quality of your solution, how the zkBob integration is actually crucial and integral to the overall application, and how your solution aligns with the Bob and zkBob ecosystem values of on-chain compliant privacy. Yeah, and I think we have a few minutes for a short live demonstration of how direct deposit works. So I'm going to log in into the zkBob UI right now. So I have created previously a couple of days ago a test zk account. So we're going to wait until everything is loaded. So what we see here is that I have a zk account. I have connected a public MetaMask address to it, on which I have right now 5.9 Bob tokens. I have a zk account with a total balance of 14 Bob. If I go to the history, yeah, I will see that this balance of 14 is obtained usually. So a couple of days ago, I made a deposit of 8 Bob. Then someone transferred 2 more Bob to my receiving address, to my receiving zk address. And finally, I made a direct deposit to this address, to this account as well. So in order to just do one more direct deposit to our account, we're going to need to send 2 transactions. So just for the purpose of this demo, the simplest way we're going to do it is through Polygon Scan UI. So this concrete deployment is on Polygon. So the first transaction is we need to actually approve the tokens, the Bob tokens for usage into the direct deposit contract. So that's a quite typical flow for any Web3 application. So we're going to send an approval transaction. So it's good. And then in order to send the direct deposit from the Polygon Scan UI without generating any Snark proof, we're going to create a new receiving zk address in our account tab. we're going to go to the second direct deposit smart contract. And here we're going to find the direct deposit function for making such deposit. So we're going to pass the address we want to make our deposit into. Then we're going to choose the amount. Let's say we want to deposit 3 Bob tokens. So the Bob has 18 decimals. So we're going to also type 18 zeros. And the fee for depositing is 0.1 Bob. So we're going to add that here as well, so that the receiver will actually receive 3 Bob. And then we also have a third parameter of fallback user, which is basically alternative receiver for this particular deposit in case it cannot be made through due to some compliance issue with the sender or similar problems. So since we're sending the deposit to ourselves, we're going to just copy the same address we use in our MetaMask here. Going to send this transaction. So we're going to see that from our account, 3.1 Bob will be eventually deducted during this transaction. So yeah, and once the transaction, let's wait till it's displayed. So yeah, we have successfully submitted the direct deposit from our address to the zkBob direct deposit smart contract. So now we're going to have to wait for 10 to 15 minutes for Relayer to pick up this transaction, to put that in a batch, generate the necessary snark proof, and submit it to the main zkBob pool. And after that, we're going to see the one more incoming transfer of 3 Bob with this direct deposit label on our account, and the total balance of our account would be increased to 17 Bob. So yeah, that's pretty much how it works. Yeah, so feel free to subscribe to our Twitter, read the docs about zkBob on our website. We have a cool page specifically for this hackathon regarding direct deposits. Come to our booth for any questions, for any other collaborations, for grabbing our cool swag. Yeah, ask questions in the sponsor zkBob hackathon Discord channel at the ETHGlobal. And yeah, thank you very much for your attention. I think we have 5 minutes for questions here, if you have any.
If you have any questions, so please raise your hand, so I'm gonna bring the mic.
Yeah, so how volume dependent is the privacy protection? So like, if there's not that many people doing deposits and withdrawals, is it easy to track, like linked together the transactions?
Yeah, so of course there is a well-known concept of anonymity pool. So it works differently in different protocols, since in our protocols there are not only deposits and withdrawals on some fixed amounts, but you can also after you make the deposit, split it in multiple withdrawals, so make transfers within the pool. So actually the funds become really dispersed over time pretty fast. And so if you, even within like hundreds of users, it really becomes nearly impossible to tell what really happens and how are they connected. So yeah, basically I think even existing anonymity set for the zkBob is already quite enough for the majority of people. So if you're gonna go into the contract, open the token transfers, yeah, we'll see that a lot of stuff going on here, and there is actually no any way to tell how these depositors and withdrawals are connected with each other, how they exchange the money within the pool. So it becomes quite untrivial to reverse engineer.
What is the best way to so is there a way to withdraw fund on chain?
Yeah, so basically once you have this balance within the zk account and you want to withdraw to your public address, you're gonna just select the withdraw tab.
I mean, without the UI, is there a way to call that on Solidity or?
Yeah, so it's not possible to call it directly on Solidity, since in order to withdraw, the user must generate the snark proof. So the Solidity on its own cannot generate the snark proof. So right now, the only option is to use the UI for generating these proofs. So we have like a more low level for like this WASM library, which is responsible for all this proof generation necessary SDK. So maybe we're gonna build some widgets which gonna help to integrate this into some other external UIs in some time in the future. But yeah, anyway, so there is this low-level library which is responsible for proof generation, and this probably gonna be the only way the person is able to initiate and submit their withdrawal.
I think is the Bob swap deployed on any testnet in now? Any testnet like Goerli or Seporia?
I think no, unfortunately, but yeah, probably we can deploy it, so no problem. So yeah, it's deployed on Polygon, Optimism, and all other networks. Yeah, integrated with 1inch, but yeah, if you want it to happen on Goerli or Seporia, yeah, we can definitely do that, no problem. Not right now, but yeah, maybe within this hackathon, yeah, I'll try my best. Yeah.
How strict is the deposit screening? Like, would a wallet freshly funded from Tornado be sanctioned?
Well, I think you can try. I'm not sure it will be immediately flagged, but so we are using the TRM for now as our screening provider. So we kind of do not screen ourselves. So we don't. I'm not 100% sure what are the policies within TRM. How this score factoring depends on the different sources, on the amounts, on how you like, and the different timings. But I think it obviously marks very obvious use cases when someone launders hundreds of millions of dollars. Yeah, definitely gonna mark those. Definitely not gonna mark, casual wallets of simple users who are like transferring, value of below 1,000. But what happens in the middle, it's really hard to tell usually. And yeah, it all depends on how this TRM provider behaves, and they do not actively disclose what are their politics and how they calculate these score factors.
What was the name of the people who were in charge of the sanctioning again?
TRM Labs.
Tiro?
TRM.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks a lot.